Well, hey folks, I'm excited for this video today as we're gonna look at a full tang Tomahawk. Now recently, I've really wanted to begin to hone my skills, test my skills, and just learn more about tomahawks and hatchets and axes, both on the tactical realm and just around the campsite wood realm. So today we're looking at the hardcore hardware compact Tomahawk. I'll annotate in the model number, I forget it off the top of my head, that they have. Now this is kind of one of their bread and butter designs, one of the first ones they came out with when the company started. So I was able to pick one of these up slightly used and have really had a chance to thrash on it, test it out. We have lots of different, not only tactical, going through material and man-made material, items that we're going to be testing out this against, but also woodscraft. How would this work around the campsite? So we want to look at these in both dimensions, both realms, if you will. So we're going to look at this, pros and cons. Is this the right Tomahawk to throw down? Because this is going to cost you a pretty penny, but is this something that will last you a lifetime and serve you well? Or are there other items that I can recommend to you better? We're going to discuss that, look at it throughout this video. So let's go ahead and jump to it.
All right, let's go ahead and discuss the business end of the Tomahawk here. And what we have is a 3-inch cutting edge with that nice saber grind into that 3/8 basically thickness on the head, which is huge. I mean, this is a massively thick Tomahawk, and that's a good thing for strength. And then it goes into a spike that's kind of flattened back here, which I found worked really well with breaching tasks. This is a fantastic breaching part of the tool. I was able to destroy concrete, not only plates and chip huge chunks out of it, but then also destroy cinder blocks with about half the effort of some other Tomahawks that I've seen. That's partly because of the weight, and that's partly because of the design of this spike back here. It's not a sharp spike, it's more of a blunted spike to help with going through walls, cinder blocks, wood, plywood, all that type of stuff. It's going to punch through and give you great destructive capability back here on the spike. This would not be, in my mind, a combat spike in the sense of hand-to-hand combat. Yes, it would penetrate a helmet probably, but there are other spikes out on the market that would do a better job with that for the Tomahawk range. Now, the blade portion here did great in destroying all man-made materials, and that's really what I want to hit on in this video, is that this is really a very specific tool. A lot of Tomahawks that I have, I have several that I've used over the years, are kind of multifunctional. Yeah, you could use them as a self-defense tool if you had to. You could use them in the woods, and you could use them, for demolition, that type of thing, and breaching. And they're all kind of like a jack of all trades. They can do all those things that I just listed relatively well. They're not the best at any one thing, they're just a jack of all trades. That is not the case with this Tomahawk. I believe this is a very specific Tomahawk for breaching only. If you're going to try and think that you're going to go either use this for hand-to-hand combat, it is not set up for that. Not only is the edge rather blunt, and you would really have to do some reprofiling of the edge. I mean, I'm talking like a couple hours on a grinder to probably get this to an area where it would give you really good slashing and like penetration into skin through clothing, Kevlar, all that type of stuff. I mean, you're gonna have to try and destroy those things. You would have to have a much sharper, finer edge to puncture those and go through anything and really give you anything more than just hitting you with almost like a hammer. It'd almost be better to hit you with a hammer than try and hit you with this. It's not going to penetrate the skin or the flesh like you would like for hand-to-hand. And also with woodscraft, I was rather disappointed actually with all sorts of woodscraft. I was expecting a lot more with splitting capability. It did not do very well with that. With chopping capability, I'm like, this is a 2-pound Tomahawk. I mean, this has got to be able to take out chunks, and it just did not do very well. We were just like, it literally felt like we were hitting the logs with a hammer and not a Tomahawk or an axe. So it will do, again, demolition very well, but that is it. So this is not a woods type of tool in any way, shape, or form, and this isn't a hand-to-hand combat tool in any way, shape, or form because of the weight and the grind angles. So that is something I just want to touch on. Now, this D2 steel, it's a lower Rockwell on that D2. I believe it's like a 50 to 55 is what they do for the Tomahawk, so you're getting some rust resistance that D2 offers over just basic high carbons, but you're also getting a better edge retention as well. The edge retention is good on this Tomahawk, particularly for the price point. You're getting good edge retention, better than some of the like $100 tactical Tomahawks that are out there. So that will lead us into the handle. And like I said just a moment ago, 2 lanyard holes. That's nice. So you can kind of decide where you want to lash. You got a pommel with some jimping down here that you could also do some hammering, tent pegs, that type of thing to set up a tent or something like that. Now, this is 12.5 inches overall length. As I said earlier, 2.3 pounds. I mean, this is just a beast. It is full tang, obviously, again. G10 handle scales, black or tan, depending on what you want to do. This is the tan version. Really nice with its ergonomics. We got palm swells in 3 locations. And basically, you have 3 grips, one right here in the middle, and one up top. So that up top, you can do more choke up, really fine, hacking if you needed to. Middle grip, kind of more controlled, but you can still get some weight behind it. And then you got your back grip back here to really get those heavy swings if you're like really going through a wall or something like that. No real hot spots to speak of. Very good, overall with the ergonomics, depending on which 3 grips that you're holding. The ting does come slightly above the G10, so that is something to consider. Again, I didn't really see any issue with it, but that is there. And the lanyard will definitely help keep it in your hand. If you don't do a lanyard, it does have a little bit of a sweep, but it will want to fly out of your hand, particularly with like tack gloves after a few swings. So you definitely want to get yourself some good 550 paracord and lash that to the Tomahawk. So the sheath options are really good for this Tomahawk. I mean, they really thought through, again, breaching and military tactical use only. Not hand-to-hand combat and not woodscraft in my opinion, but they did think through the application that they built this for very well. The first thing is that what you see on the table is what you get. I guess this is an older version. From what I understand, they've slightly tweaked the new Kydex that they offer, but very similar to what you're seeing here. So a Kydex attachment, you got ambidextrous blade tech lock attachments, did come with the blade tech lock, did come with this nice heavy duty rubber overmold strap. So sits in very nice. You kind of put the spike in first, click it in, snap the button over to kind of keep it from falling out if you are running and gunning with it. Now on my model, and again, they may have tweaked this, but if I pull hard, the spike will come out about 1/4 inch right there, and that would definitely cause some damage on your arm, on a leg, something like that. So hopefully they've slightly tweaked that, because that is the movement. Without too much difficulty, I can get that spike to really come out on the beard of the Tomahawk. So that's something to consider there. But good over molding overall, fits in there, but that is something to consider. Nylon sleeve. Now it is MOLLE compatible, PALS webbing, so you can attach it to the back of your partner, pull it out for him, and then he can, destroy the door or the wall or whatever you guys need to get through. Very heavy duty, good stitching. Huge Velcro strip and button. The thing to note is that you cannot put it with a blade tech lock into the sleeve. You have to take the blade tech lock off, put the Kydex on, and then slide it in, and it will fit nicely. So that is something just to be aware of. But I think that was a really cool setup and good idea to pair, particularly again for that military, tactical, law enforcement use with this Kydex sheath. So it's a 2-in-1 feature. Now let's go ahead and talk about price. Now, if you are looking for a purely breaching tool, we have links over to Amazon below. That's a great way to help support the channel, helps me buy product just like this. I purchased this guy for review so that we could get a really comprehensive feel for the Tomahawk. So when you guys use those hyperlinks over to Amazon, regardless if you're gonna buy this Tomahawk or anything else, that helps us because we get a little kickback from your purchases, and it helps me to go out and buy items just like this one to give you my thoughts on it. Now, this is gonna go on Amazon, black or tan, for $385. I'm looking at it right now as we're discussing this. So just under $400 for this Tomahawk. Now, just materials and setup, is it worth it? Well, when you look at other companies like RMJ Tactical, I know Outland, Tomahawks, there are a couple other ones out there that have similar designs. If they're using premium materials and premium design like what we're seeing here, those easily go for $400 or more. So yes, it is valuable to the price point of other material out there, other designs out there. I think with the nylon as well as the Kydex and just all the different aspects to it, yes, in concept. Now, if you are not buying a breaching tool and you need basically a Tomahawk that is designed only to destroy man-made material, if that's what you need, awesome. But if not, then that I don't see any value in this. This is not valuable to me because I have no use for it. I want multi-functionality in my Tomahawks. If I'm gonna buy a full tank Tomahawk, drop $400-ish, just shy of that, I better be able to do woodscraft if I needed to, do some hand-to-hand if I needed to, and do breaching if I needed to. I can only do breaching in my mind with this tool, so it doesn't really fit in a system that I am personally looking for. You need to decide, is that what you need or not, because that will determine whether or not there's really any value to it. But for the materials, for the design, and for what else is out on the market, yeah, it's basically going at the average rate.
So folks, time for us to bring this video to a close, give you my final thoughts. Is this worth purchasing? You know, I think if you are going to be looking to basically destroy material, and I mean man-made material, go through vehicles, go through doors, walls, that type of a thing, I think that this has a lot of potential. In the world of woodscraft of any kind, I don't really see it being a success, or hand-to-hand combat, because it's so heavy. On the hand-to-hand combat side, it's just so heavy. There are lighter weight Tomahawks if you're going to use this for hand-to-hand combat type of stuff, and you're equipped and trained in that capacity. And for woodscraft around, you know, the campsite, it's just too heavy, too compact, and doesn't offer the blade geometry that I'm looking for. I've really got to power through it. It's exhausting to try and chop the branches and things that I would look for on a regular basis to use a axe of this size or a tomahawk of this size around the campsite. So there's just other better options that are a little lighter weight, a little thinner on the blade profile. You could totally reprofile the blade if you wanted to do so, and that would probably help with the woodscraft somewhat. But for me, I see it totally as a purely military law enforcement tool that's only designed to tear through man-made material of housing or vehicles. So hopefully this helps you guys out decide whether or not this is the right tool for you. I think it's very well built. I think that the materials are all there, and the design, it's just how you're going to deploy it, know exactly how you want to use it. Otherwise, you may be disappointed in its performance. So as always, guys, thank you so much for coming over here, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear any thoughts or questions that you have. I'll answer in the comments below. Check us out on all the relevant social media as well. That's a great way to see what's up and coming. And always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.